We have to tell Congress it's time to crack down on gun trafficking so that folks will think twice before buying a gun as part of a scheme to arm someone who won't pass a background check. Let's get that done. We have to tell Congress it's time to restore the ban on military-style assault weapons and a 10-round limit for magazines to make it harder for a gunman to fire 154 bullets into his victims in less than 5 minutes. Let's put that to a vote. We have to tell Congress it's time to strengthen school safety and help people struggling with mental health problems get the treatment they need before it's too late. Let's do that for our kids and for our communities. Now, I know that some of these proposals inspire more debate than others, but each of them has the support of the majority of the American people. All of them are common sense. All of them deserve a vote. All of them deserve a vote. Consider background checks. Over the past 20 years, background checks have kept more than 2 million dangerous people from getting their hands on a gun. Now, a group of police officers in Colorado told me last week that thanks to background checks, they've been able to stop convicted murderers, folks under restraining orders for committing violent domestic abuse, from buying a gun. In some cases, they've actually arrested the person as they were coming to purchase the gun. So we know that background checks can work, but the problem is loopholes in the current law let so many people avoid background checks altogether. That's not safe. It doesn't make sense. If you're a law-abiding citizen and you go through a background check to buy a gun, wouldn't you expect other people to play by the same rules? If you're a law-abiding gun seller, wouldn't you want to know you're not selling your gun to someone who's likely to commit a crime? Shouldn't we make it harder, not easier, for somebody who's convicted of domestic abuse to get his hands on a gun? It turns out 90% of Americans think so. 90% of Americans support universal background checks. Think about that. How often do 90% of Americans agree on anything? And yet 90% agree on this. Republicans, Democrats, folks who own guns, folks who don't own guns, 80% of Republicans, more than 80% of gun owners, more than 70% of NRA households. It is common sense. And yet, there's only one thing that can stand in the way of change that just about everybody agrees on, and that's politics in Washington.